Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Heayman channel, and I am Cosmic, and I got an awesome podcast for you guys. So this podcast is going to be about knowing your self-value and your self-worth, which are two very important things, which are things I've been thinking about a lot lately. I think about it a lot since I work night shifts at my job. I have a bunch of time to think, and I was just thinking just how important it is to know your self-worth so that people can't take that away from you. Like knowing your value as a person and how much you mean to yourself, because I spent a lot of time growing up, especially in my teenage years, trying to get validation or trying to understand my worth through the acceptance of others, and that's a dangerous thing to do, looking back on it. But always thought, with all these titles that people give you or the validation that people give you, that comes a part of your worth, which it honestly doesn't, because titles are titles, and people's talk is just people's talk, I feel like if you just truly know your self-worth and who you are and your value that you bring to the table, no one, excuse me, no one can take anything away from you. And that's a very important thing to tell people and to make a video about, because a lot of people struggle with self-worth. I struggled with that my entire life. I never knew how much value I really had honestly, until I was like at least 20. I think 19 was like, the seeds were planted and everything, but until I was 20, that's when I really started to understand the value that I have as a person, the things that I bring to the table, and how no one can take that away from me. And that's important for you guys to hear that, so that you guys can look within yourself, practice self-love, learn about yourself, learn about your worth, your value, so that when you go out into the real world and you have struggles, either with your personal life that you already have or things that'll come in the future, that you'll be able to handle it, and that people won't be able to take anything away from you. It's a very important thing when you know that you love yourself and you know the value that you have, because that makes you unstoppable. A lot of people, as you grow up and as you use social media or whatever you use, there's going to be people that they'll try to put a title on you. They'll try to say, well, you're this, you're only amount to that, you only amount to this, or you're just going to be whatever. And honestly, it's hard to say like, oh yeah, I'll never give a fuck what people think, but that's pretty hard, It's hard to have that mindset of like, yeah, I never care what people think, because like to some degree you do, but I think it's building that mental hardness where like people can say shit about you or about your morals, your values, beliefs, the things that you love, the things that you don't like, and they can question it or judge it. But you should get to the mindset of like, for people who don't care about anything that you like or just want to shit talk it, then let them just be noise, just cancel out the noise. Like, it's alright if it goes through your head, but just don't let that define you as like, like, oh, you're skinny or you're fat. Like, even if it's true, like if you know yourself and you know you're gonna work on it, then bust your ass to work on it. Don't let these people put titles on you and make you feel like you're less of a human just because they need something to make themselves feel better because they're miserable. A lot of people will talk shit and say shit about you, and it's just a self-reflection of them. That's something I've noticed a lot, especially the last 2 years. I've been through a lot the last 2 years, nothing like major, just like small stuff with people and whatnot, but it made me think like a lot of people's hatred towards other people, or a lot of things that they don't like, it's just a reflection of stuff that they don't like, but since they don't know how to handle it internally, they take it out on people around them, and that's something that I personally done. I remember this was a lot more with like stress or whatnot, or with the people that I didn't agree with, that were maybe people that I knew, people that I knew that I disagree with a lot of stuff on. I'd be like upset about it, and like I just realized like maybe I'm not upset at like stuff that they like or that they disagree with. Maybe it's just my mindset on it. Like my mindset's not right. Like if I want to be mad at this person because of some stupid thing, then it's not really them that's the problem, it's actually me. I'm just projecting my own anger of someone else's whatever towards them, but it's really just me that's the problem. But yeah, that's a lot. You'll see a lot of that, especially with working and just going out in public or staying online. You see a lot of people just project a lot of just like disdain and things they don't like, and like you'll see like a lot of hatred. You guys have already seen it, but it really is just a self-reflection. And if they can make you feel like you're devalued, then it means that they just want to have that power over you, because people like to buy real estate in your head. There's some sick, sadistic people, and we've all probably done it to people without even knowing, on accident, or maybe even on purpose. I know I have. I'll take responsibility and accountability. Like, there's some people I know that I've said some things to, and it's hurtful things, and like I did it to get in their head. As I grow up, I'm 21 now, and I like to look back at it and say like, you know, I forgive that person for whatever they might have did to get me to that spot, or I just forgive myself for even putting myself in that position of being the lowest version of myself. So that's something I'm glad that, you know, forgiving myself and forgiving others, whether they even know it or not, very important thing. Because I don't know, I feel like when people just go to this dark place where they want to take away your value, take away who you are because it makes them feel better, because it makes them feel power, that's a dangerous thing, you know. That's why like arrogance, pride, granted you should be prideful, like I'm proud to be, you know, an African American, I'm proud to be just, you know, all these things, and you should be proud to be like who you are and where you come from. But to have pride, I'm talking about like this evil pride where you hold your chest up high and like everybody's beneath your nose and all that crap. That's just dumb. And all that arrogance and ego, like no wonder why people that have those things, they struggle with themselves when the doors are locked, when it's just them in their own head, you know? When the doors are locked and you're by yourself, how are you gonna function? How are you gonna beat your own mental? Because most of what the world is going through, granted, a lot of people are hurting a lot of people, are doing a lot of things to each other, but if a lot of people really worked on themselves, this world would be hundreds of percent better, you know? And it's people who are like that, it's just, if you give them that power over you, they'll never stop. It's like, it's the same with bullies. If you keep giving in and letting them shit talk you or this or that, you know, it's that feeling of power that people crave, and we all crave it. There's not a single person here that should deny that feeling powerful is a really good thing, you know? But fighting that power over people, like trying to just do your best to be a more positive influence instead of just being power hungry over people, that's what you should be fighting for. It's just being like a light, you know? And that's something that, you know, like I said, I've been thinking a lot about this just when I'm working, because, you know, I mean, it's probably not every job out there, I know that much, but most jobs you'll feel like you're just another ant, you know, you're just another hamster in the wheel. But like, never let that define what you're doing, you know? Like, hey, if I work this job, I'm working it because I know where I need to be in the future. It's just a stepping stone to my greatness, and that's how I see it, you know? I never let, like, you know, people like, oh, well, you're a coworker, you're just gonna climb the corporate ladder and you'll never amount to anything. You won't retire with much in your 401k, and you'll just be another everyday person. Like, people can say what they want. Like, they can say, like, oh, well, look at the deck stack against you because maybe your race or your gender or whatever that might be, that people might say that you're never gonna make it. Whatever your subjective success is, you know? There's gonna be people that'll tell you that you're gonna amount to nothing, because in their heart, that's what they feel like they're amounting to. And granted, it's better to just treat them right, you know, even if they are like horrible people or they said horrible shit. I'm still working on forgiveness for other people, but it's better to work on it than to keep this disdain and this dislike for someone just because they want to devalue. Like, let them devalue you, you know? If you could show them some type of kindness, then maybe one day they can wake up and change. But yeah, so that's what I was thinking about at work. It's just like, you know, they treat us like not right, you know, they cut hours, they help the higher ups get richer and all that. It is what it is, which, I mean, you can't really be surprised, you know? Like, not every job is perfect, and not every human being is obviously gonna be perfect, but I don't know, I feel like as much as they try to like make you feel like you're not anybody, every time they make us do stuff, or they make us work harder than we have to, or make us do our job plus more, and then they still get mad at us, it's like, I always know my value and I know what I bring to the table in terms of my work ethic. So like, they could say all they want, they could fire me, I don't give a shit. It's like, I know who I am, and no one's ever going to take that away from me. Like, even if you kill me, even if something happens to me, there's people around me that know who I am and the value that I have. But more importantly, I know it for myself. And that's the powerful thing. I know my self-value, I know my worth. No one can take that away from me. Like, I am Larry, I'm always going to be me. I'll be a more improved version of myself as time goes on, but like, just knowing that you're a human being, that you have life, that you can perceive reality, that you can experience love, experience different perspectives, experience failure, change, positive change, negative change, whatever that might be. The fact that you're here, which I don't even think is a mistake. I think that everybody that's ever been born has been born for a purpose, and like, I don't know, it's when you know your value and you know who you are and what you want to do in life, you're unstoppable, man. And that goes back into my last podcast I made, talking about something similar to that. But yeah, I just want to talk about value, because I don't know, a lot of people, even my own friend group, you know, we all struggled in some way with trying to find ourselves, trying to find our value, because there was just so many different doors maybe we're afraid to go into it. Maybe I had to go through like a door of fear to face my past, to face my stress, to face, you know, that demon in my head, you know, that voice in my head that wants to do wrong, and then have to fight with the one that wants to do right, you know. There's always a mental battle too. So as I see my friends grow up, as I see them, you know, conquering, you know, some bullshit that you might say in your head that you might believe, like, you know, I used to tell myself, I got my heart broken like a while ago, like, oh, maybe I'm damaged goods. It's like, if you tell yourself that, then you're gonna believe it. But if you say like, hey, I did what I could in this relationship, maybe I might have messed up, but, you know, I'm gonna be better next time around. Like, if you just give yourself that positive talk, but also keep it realistic, you know, critique yourself when you need to be critiqued. You know, it's always good to have that self-talk with yourself. Be open to critique, not only yourself, but like, let the people around you help you out, you know? If these are not, and I'm not talking about yes mix, they're never gonna help you out. I'm talking about like real genuine family members or friends, or just anybody that you could talk to, therapists that can give you good advice outside of yourself to how to be the best you, to take it, you know? And start working on that positive talk. That's what I'm doing, you know? The biggest struggle I've ever had in my entire life, I used to think it was with events that happened, or my childhood, or problems I had with other people, but in reality, it's just me. And I didn't know how to handle it. You know, I always ran away from, like, imagine like a door, and inside that door, there's all this messed up stuff you think about. There's fear in there, there's doubt, there's guilt, you know, there's shame, there's stress, all that horrible stuff, you know. And that's a door I never wanted to open up. I was very afraid to open that door. Because in some way I feel like just, you know, I was afraid to face reality, so I would just blame stuff on other people, blame stuff on events or how things happen, and be like, well, this is me, you know, and just give up. Not ever give up to like a suicidal point, but like, just give up on being anything, a better version of myself. And that's where I messed up a lot in my teens, you know. And as a child, I didn't know anything about self-improvement, so like, that's just a byproduct of what happened in my teens, you know. It's like a following up on that. But yeah, so that's, I don't know, just thought you guys should hear about it, and, you know, just like, know your value. And as you grow up, I don't know how old everybody is that's watching this. I know I usually try to target, you know, stuff for adults or teens, but it really doesn't matter the age that you are. It doesn't matter if you're 90, doesn't matter if you're 10, you know, like anybody that hears this, just know that you're valuable and that you have worth. And don't get it from anybody else. Don't get it from someone you love, which is great, actually. That's great to have people around you that love you, that give you value, but more importantly, you're not to search your own soul to find it, you know. You need to go to some dark doors, you know. Like I said, I had to go through some doors in my life I didn't want to go back to, and there's still some I got to go back to figure out a lot more about why I am the way I am and how I'm going to be better, you know. There's still some people I have to face that I need to ask questions about. Why did this happen? Why did we do that? And why are you this way? So there's a couple of things for me personally, you know, as I take this advice and I apply it, there's some doors that I have to go back to, you know, and some of them I'm nervous about. I know I need to go back there because the more I go to these doors, the more I go to the door of fear, the guilt, all that stuff. All the stuff I've ever felt that was negative, you know, that made me feel like I was less of a human. The more I go through that and I conquer it, the more I realize more about myself and how much worth I have. And it's not pride, you know, it's all self-love. So that's one thing I definitely want to make sure that you guys are careful with. Like, as you start to love yourself and really appreciate your life, the small things, the blessings and all that, make sure that you're always humble and meek about it. And meekness isn't devaluing yourself. Meekness is actually just being very genuine. You know, being meek is being like human, man. It's not weakness. I always thought it was. It's not. Being meek is being human and having empathy and all that. So keep that in mind. I definitely hope this helps you out, because like I have a lot of podcast ideas. You know, like, yeah, I got some gaming stuff I need to work on and all that stuff, but sometimes I definitely like to have like these real life talk with you guys, because like as much as I make the podcast for you guys, I also make it as like a a document to where I'm at mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all that, you know. I like to also keep up with where I'm at, because like if I look at my first podcast called The Purpose, you know, I was in a different headspace back then, but I can also relate to where I was at now, not looking back at it. So it's just cool to make these podcasts knowing that it can help someone out just outside myself too, because if you have all this knowledge, and I have like, you know, a little bit of wisdom, I'm still growing up, so there's still a lot more wisdom I need to learn, a lot more things I need to go through, but like as I start to gain, you know, knowledge and wisdom about life, about people, about you know, just a lot of things that happen in the world. I definitely want to give back to those and hope that you guys can improve and that this can help you out, and then you guys can be the best version of yourself, and then continue that, like, that whole train of just helping out people and giving them advice also. Because I think that's pretty important to, you know, set a standard for yourself, and not only set it for yourself, but if you have the torch, you know, pass it down to somebody else. That's really what I want to do with my podcast as it grows and gets bigger. Like, always have different subjects to talk about, you know, with entertainment, with, you know, games, wrestling, UFC, all that stuff, all that fun stuff we like, movies and all that. But I definitely like this real life stuff too. I like this real life talk, because, like, you guys get to see me. You guys get to see the flawed version of me, you know? And I think that's important for you guys to know me, and then in some way, as you guys listen to the podcast, as you guys grow alongside me, that you guys will learn, you guys will grow, and then teach it to others. There's nothing more beautiful than that. But with that said, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. I kept it kind of short, and let me know what you guys think about, you know, the topic, you know, knowing your self-worth and value. Let me know what you guys think about that, and, you know, let's talk in the comments, you know. Tell me where you guys are at mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and I'll reply to every single one of y'all. And thank you guys for the support. I've seen you on the channel a lot lately, so thank you guys for blessing me. It's been crazy to see how much comments we've been getting on our videos, so I'm very thankful for the people that have come from different communities all to come and support me, so thank you guys. You guys take it easy today. I will see you guys in the next video, and you guys stay blessed. You guys have a good one.